Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Okay,
And I went longer.
all right, thank you.
That's how
I don't
honestly
know why this has been.
finicky.
I shouldn't. I should have had that.
No, it was just like hot, and then it's again. Okay. Well. Or my kid family. No, the kid right down. Yeah, but I started and my. Well, so Walker said here now. Oh, yeah, me and Mitch are laughing, but. Well, Marty also be talking.
You're good. You want me to put here?
Smart board will let me do it. I'll try it. Okay.
I was like one of the last teachers that did not
Oh,
install.
man.
We had them,
Yeah.
but I forget.
When it got installed.
Save the sea turtles. When they were giving out the smart boards, they got. They're like, "These are Christmas." So I was like the last one with the overhead protection.
Yeah. That turned out really well. But maybe this can. I don't know if it might be. I don't want somebody talking like, it turned out really well.
Oh, I can hear somebody.
Are you all official? So,
I think so, yeah.
okay. All right, so we're calling meeting. We just, I can call. Welcome to the October meeting, everybody. First, we're doing our intros like we've always done. I am Sarah. I am co-chair this year, Caitlin. Not here, she's on work meeting. I have a high school kid, and then I have Emily Kelsey here in third grade with Adams and Bethel. So.
Hi, I'm Leah. I have Audrey in first grade, Alan in third, and Lucy. I'm Alex. I have a second grader, Gabe, and kindergartner Ari. And Larry, I have a second grader, Flynn with Mrs. B, and a kindergartner, Wendy with Miss Remus. Hi, I'm Nishi. I have a fourth grader, Nishan.
And she using these stuff.
I'm Kate. I have Liam in second grade. I'm Jessica. I have a fourth grader named Mitchell. He's in. This is. Oh, it's a challenge. Fender's class.
Number one, do you guys wanna?
Hi, Shannon, the treasurer. I have a third grader, Jeffrey. The Strugglers class. I don't remember that.
I'm very safety conscious.
She got us here safely.
I have a kindergarten and kindergartner.
name?
Oh, just.
Oh, you
Kindergartner. Kindergartner, Miss Pines, AM class, and Bruce is in second grade and Mrs. Fletch. Hi, Mallory, I have a kindergartner, Miles, Miss Pines class.
My name's Tom. I'm a third grader in first grade.
I'm Allison, secretary. I'm a second grader with Mrs. Rudy and I have a 2-year-old at Buckland's. Yeah,
I'm studying art teacher, and I'm not supposed to be on the docket tonight, but I kind of lunch my way. So thanks for having me.
I like principal.
Okay, we just need to start off with approving September minute. Maybe we have any questions? Second. All in favor? All right. Moving on, principal report.
All right, thank you. First of all, it's great to see everybody. It seems like we're just here in September. I think we were about 27, 28 days now into the school year. It's flying. Last week, we had our first ever K-2 and 3 to 5, what I call community gatherings, which is a fancy name for assembly, but I want to call it a monthly assembly. So it caused a lot of confusion with the staff. What is this K-2 community gathering? but it's something that I saw in another school district on a visitation last year. And basically what we're looking to do is bring our K-2 students and our 3-5 students together. Kind of, and it's gonna evolve. We did it once. I definitely want a little bit more like a pep rally kind of thing when they walk in. But we're using that space to talk about kind of the relevant issues. That could be our diversity and equity, like if it's a monthly celebration of a certain event. We might have students put on some skits during this opportunity. Last week, we had 2 themes. One was the behavior discipline data that we have as part of our PBIS is showing that right now the #1 behavior is actually personal space in the classroom. Now that's also probably because teachers are putting more of these data pieces in the system for us. Usually it's recess or lunch, right? Without a doubt. But one of the topics of the gatherings was basically a video that I had put together or found to show students, personal space, the importance of personal space. And then my diversity and equity leaders put together an activity for K-2, 3-5. You may remember last year we did an assembly on words, how powerful our words are. So that is actually our theme this year, words matter. And this particular activity, we had like just a kind of a large piece of paper that was cut out as a person. And we had the teachers, which someday will be the students running this, to say, I'll say mean things, like I don't like what you have for lunch, things like that. And each time someone said that, they crumpled up the paper. So after 5, 6, 7 things, you had a crumpled up person. Then we tried to build the person back up. We had students, called on students, they would say nice, positive things. Then we unfurled the paper, but those wrinkles were still there. And the goal of this kind of activity was to talk about the power of our words. That if you say something negative, yes, someone may move on, but that might leave a mark. So we did that with K-2 and 3-5. But we're looking forward to kind of bringing K-2, 3-5 together, roughly once every month, depending on what that month looks like in terms of breaks and things. So that was the first one. Your children may have talked about it, but started that last week, and it'll be something that my staff and I, this actually goes into the next piece. I have 8 5th grade, we call CPAs. They are cultural proficiency ambassadors, which are just helping us with the work that we've already started. They're going to help us plan the celebrations, the announcements each month, just talking about our differences and our similarities. So this particular group will be instrumental when we start planning these assemblies, that students are going to start taking a role in this as well. Halloween parade, it will be 9:15 in the morning, going back to the schedule we had for a long time that we tried something different last year. We're going back to the old one. It'll be 9:15 in the morning. Grade level classroom teachers will talk with the homeroom parents about the timing of the parties. It's a full day of school. Yes. That's gonna be a full week of school with Halloween on a Tuesday. So I don't know when the full moon is. I'm sure it's probably sometime in that week. But that goes into the homeroom parent. Homeroom parents will be meeting first with myself for about 10 minutes on Thursday, just to go over overall expectations for the year, guidelines. And then homeroom parents will be meeting with grade levels to talk about the events for the year. And I'll have room assignments for parents in the cafeteria after our meeting on Thursday.
That's 8 a.m. right?
That is, we will start at 8 a.m. Yes, in the cafeteria. You hopefully did see in the previous e-blast, we did have a recent lockdown drill. Just a reminder, we do at least 2 lockdowns a year. We do have other safety drills, which we will do more of this year. But the teachers, if you were a parent here last year, you may remember, I believe it was after Uvalde, we had a whole big district kind of not review of procedures, but more resources were shared, and we did lockdowns and shared PowerPoints with kids. We kept those resources in play. So hopefully teachers after the lockdown, or depending on the age previous, but prior to the lockdown, shared those resources to reassure the kids that they are safe here. The most important thing is, if something were to happen, to know what to do. And the students really seem to know why we do them. But also what would I do if I'm not in the classroom? Those are kind of discussions that we're having in the classroom. Clearances, the district has recently updated clearances in terms of building level volunteers. There should be a communication coming out from at least the 3 elementary buildings within the next 2 weeks, if not Monday. The big change is any parent or guardian that comes in, any adult, must have the 2 main clearances completed. That includes if you come in for the library, the book fair, parties. So obviously with Halloween, we're gonna work with families to make sure we can make that happen for everybody, because I'm aware of the date and how many days we have left. But tonight, I just want to let everybody know there is a change. It is on the website. But the building principals will find a way to communicate it so everybody knows. My advice would be any parent that thinks they'll be volunteering at any time in the next, I believe they're good for 5 years. It's probably just good to go and get it, because at some point you're probably going to need to do it. So more information to follow on that, but parents, guardians that have been here for a while, that is a change. We still have to work through like guest readers, situations like that. But my understanding is if a parent is coming into the building during a school day for any type of event involving children, they will probably involve those 2 main clearances. There is a 3rd clearance that takes a little bit longer, but those are for which will affect us, are for individuals that have not lived in Pennsylvania for 10 years. So someone that is less than 10 years, they have an additional clearance, but I'll be sending all of that information out shortly. Tomorrow, grades 3 through 5, I also had in the e-blast, the social emotional surveys, kind of check in with our students. They're going to be administered in grades 3 through 5. My behavior health counselor, my counselor analyzed that information and also communicate with parents. You know, some students, you know, we're looking for students that maybe are more anxious about school than maybe we're aware of, maybe even potentially parents are aware of, and it is a good way for us to open up dialogue and potentially offer support for kids. So if you have any questions about that, I believe the contact information is in the letter. Lisa Ferraro is the person in the building who oversees the administration 3 to 5. There is a plan for K to 2, but it's more of a paper and pencil assessment. That's not this week. So, and that's all I have for tonight.
Fine, Mr.
Any
Hyman.
questions?
Anybody have any questions? I just have one question
Sure.
about, it's half personal because of my kid, the way she answered something. How, if a child perhaps said they got lost at some point, but it literally was because they stopped to look at donuts when their older sister was supposed to be watching them, but they got lost on the form. How worried should I be that I'm gonna get a phone call from the psychiatrist asking if I ever lost my child? Like, I'm like, wait, you put what? And she's like, well, I did get lost. I'm like, you got lost at a Wawa. Like,
No.
Okay. It was like, I'm like, really?
No.
Are you kidding me? Like, what
No.
happened?
We,
I'm like, oh my god.
yeah, no, I think, no.
Because I was trying to explain to her, like, that's not, you were not lost.
Yeah,
Your sister walked away from you on the long lot, like,
Yeah, no,
that
you're
you're not lost,
you're
okay,
good.
so
You're
I don't have
good.
to worry.
Um,
It was a
do
full
not have to
family
worry.
discussion regarding.
Do not have to
that.
Yeah, think of it,
Okay.
if I understand it correctly, it's more of like a, I don't say a Likert scale, but there's several questions, and
Okay.
it looks for themes, and it might say, oh, these particular questions about
Are a little bit
X.
Like, it's kind of a concern or something.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
it's like some of the.
10 questions, right?
I have
something-
not,
it's-
that's
it's not
just
many.
like, I
It's
put
like
this out
grit,
big,
it's
so I'm
like
like,
grit, I would say, not anxiety, not resilience, but something along that nature. Yeah, it's pretty short. It's I believe through Google Classroom.
yes,
That's
she
pretty
said she did it on the computer.
Yeah.
But.
Are these
You're-
the
you're-
panorama?
I'm sorry?
Are these the panorama surveys?
I believe they are panorama. I believe so, yes. Yeah, I don't always get to see the one the kids take, so.
I just want to say, I spoke with Lisa, I was just curious what the
Sure,
questions were, and I,
absolutely.
no issues, I actually really appreciate those types of surveys, and she was wonderful. I just wanted to share, she did not need to go over everything with me, but she took her time, and I really appreciated it, it was nice, it was a good conversation.
Yeah, thank you for that. I am so blessed, lucky, fortunate to have my team. Not just the classroom teachers, but my support teachers, my 2 counselors are phenomenal. And these are just ways for us. I mean, of course, they're, you know, like the question. I
Well, that's
get it,
what it
I
was
get
like.
it, but the flip side is we sometimes don't know, and if it's worth catching 3 kids, right? And parents can opt out, of course. But that is kind of what we're looking for, you know, is maybe things we don't know. And sometimes it's just a bad day or just the way, you know, there's nothing, we just move on. It's not like, oh, you got a 2, you have 6 weeks of intensive counseling. It doesn't work like that either. But it does start that conversation of, hey,
Keep an eye on.
this is an area, what do you think? What are you seeing? Hey, we're doing a group, you know, social skills group over here. Your child may benefit from it, they would qualify. So that's kind of that layered support that we're trying to do, not just academically, but at least Ms. Farrar is phenomenal. She's great.
She was really great.
Yeah, so thank you. Thank you.
I know.
Yeah, how often do you do that?
I believe twice a year. The next one, I believe is February. Yeah, I think February, twice a year.
All right, next up, we have
So-
Mrs. Benamy.
Very quickly.
Yes. You wanna
I'm gonna embarrass Mrs. Benamy.
Yeah.
I'll be really brief, because I know I'm gonna get her into a presentation, so I'll make sure I'm brief. And I know I probably said very similar last year. I don't think I can say enough about what Mrs. Benning has brought to our community. Year 4. She was our art instructor when we were hybrid. It was her first year, and then she was a building sub classroom teacher. We were this close to losing her because I didn't have a position, and she kept saying, I want to stay, I want to stay. The bottom line is, Mrs. Benamy, not just as an art teacher, but as a person who is in this building, is so supportive of not just the students, but all of the work we're doing in the building. World famous crochet club. We have students taking crochet club that I just didn't think they would like crochet, and they love it. So the students absolutely adore her, and she's been nothing but just a ray of sunshine for our kids and for our community. And I greatly appreciate her. And one of the things I appreciate the most is her reflective nature early in her career, but she's constantly looking at what else can I do, whether it's in the art room or for the building. So I just saw what she's gonna share with you tonight. I think it's awesome. So I'm glad this was a late change, but I'm glad she's here. So this has been.
Thank you for those
We're
words.
gonna-
I just want to make sure it shares with them also.
It should, if you share screen up there, it should go.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. And then I just want to make sure, I don't want to share your email.
After I close it out.
Okay.
Should be good. So that one.
Okay, so here's
Close.
mine. Great. And then I'll go back and I'll actually share that. I don't miss Zoom.
All right.
Okay, so, I just wanna do it in front of the camera. Yeah, it's my 4th year. The first year looks really, really different than what this year looks like. A lot of my process recently has been, I took last year as really like data on how our kids perform and want to become artists. And what worked last year versus what worked in 2020 versus, you know, and just learning how to best serve our kids, not only as artists, but like as kids. And it really led me here, which this is like, I did not come up with this. This has existed long before me, but this is really like fills my heart with passion about being an art teacher right now. So I wanted to share this with you guys. I want to see if I can click. I don't think I can,
Okay.
so I need you to do that.
Yep.
I don't like to read off the slides, but I'll set this out too. So what TAB is, it's this idea of teaching artistic behavior, which really means like, it's not just teaching, this is how to use watercolors, or this is, we're doing this project. It's like, I want these children to be lifelong artists. I don't want them to just be like, oh, I learned that in 5th grade one year and I'm never gonna do it again or something like that. I share with the kids all the time that I never identified as an artist in elementary school, middle school, really until I was like in my 20s. I was a musician and my sister was an artist, and that was really hard for me. And then I figured out my own way. And TAB in particular is becoming an artist, learning these qualities through choice. And really not just like, okay, go do whatever you're gonna do, 'cause that would be a mess. but like it's structure that leads to choice and really building on those things. So I can go to the next one. It's really about like problem solving too, I think that, and like critical thinking skills, which if I say that to kids, they're like, that's not what I'm doing. I'm exploring or I'm creating or whatever, but they are. So how this works is a typical demonstration for me really should only last 5 to 10 minutes. It's like, here is this example. Here is this version of, I'll be just more specific, like I've done these drawing boot camps. If you have kids in 3 or 4 or 5, I've been really showing them like, here are the basics of drawing. Here's looking at an image and seeing the shapes and then drawing the shapes. So I show them how I do it and then they go do it. And then they go do it with some, very often I see kids doing the exact thing we just did, but in whatever way they want to do it. So it goes from teacher-led instructions, then it's child-centered art making. So it's like, I want them to be able to make things that they are passionate about and that resonate with them, not just this pretty pumpkin art that I've come up with because it's October, which I know is like what is really comfortable in elementary art. But I've seen like leaps and bounds from students that in just since this last month where we've really instilled this. So it gives me this opportunity to do these things like boot camps and skill builders with the younger kids. Like just, this is how you hold scissors. This is how you are safe with these objects. These are how you do these things. And where we are seeing gaps from the pandemic for kids just like not having maybe as much artistic experience or confidence or whatever it is, like it's quickly, I feel like they're catching up in a way that even I felt like it took me all last year to get to. So what I call these are like studio stations, because the whole point of Tab is for it to be an art studio for the kids. Like it's like you an artist, you step in and you're ready to make your art. It's student choice, but it's also student responsibility. I am not cleaning up after them. That's the biggest thing. I hope that they also use those skills at home as well. Like if I'm playing or I'm doing this thing, like I'm responsible for taking care of it. And with that comes like, if you can't take care of it, you can't do that choice. Like we'll take some steps back. We'll just use Drawing Center or we'll just use whatever this is. But also the idea that like, ultimately we'll get to these really awesome things like clay and fiber and building with cardboard and all of this stuff. And just like growing, and they collaborate so much more because it's not this like individualized project or like, oh, can I build this whole thing with my friend? I'm like, great. I'm ready for the next one. So for those of you who haven't been in my art room at all this year, this is like a new concept for the kids where like this visual representation of like what is allowed today, like what are we able to participate in. And like we started with drawing. Today was the first day kids who have ever opened a painting station. So like it does take time. It's like you're showing me your basic skills, you're showing me you can clean up, you're showing me that you can show independence, all of these things. And then we'll navigate through, like sometimes there will be 3 stations open, sometimes all of the stations will be open, just different things like that. I will say my first K and second are the people who open painting before my 3, 4, 5. So it's just like really letting those classes guide too. And also it's an opportunity, because I think this happens a lot, for the students who are really doing the work and really doing the right thing to like show that they're doing that, because I can put those 5 students who are ready on these stations. I don't have to wait until the rest of the class is at that level, if that makes sense. So yeah, they put their class numbers where they're at their station. I know what they're doing. I track that with data. It's the whole thing. Okay. And then I just wanted to give an example of one of the things that I found really successful this year. And some people were already talking about that. If you have a first, second, third, fourth, and fifth are now doing this, but I've done these artist trading cards. I did not originally come up with this idea. I just am bringing it here. I have them in my pocket, but it's just the idea of just getting kids to make art, even when they're like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. So I just have to make tiny card size, and there's a board in my room where kids will put theirs up, and then someone else gets to take their artwork. And then there's prizes if you collect one from like someone from each class and all these different things. And they are just like running with it. And I love it so much. So like, if you want to look at some of the examples, I can show those later. Okay, so that's the thing. And then besides kind of all the stuff that I shared with you already, why am I doing it this way? First of all, if anyone is interested, I first of all made sure that this is like super aligned with our district's curriculum and our district standards. Like I met yesterday with the rest of with SRS and West teachers. And while this really works for me and works for our students here, it might not be what's happening at those schools. But the same expectations of what they need to know when they get to middle school are being taught right now. And that's really important for me, that there is not a, our kids don't go to middle school and they're like, what were they doing? I would really like it to be like, oh, that artist absolutely came from NPE because they're so independent and creative and blah, 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 and like all this stuff. So I know that these sound like buzzwords, but like, this is what I'm seeing already. I'm like, these are just my thoughts. These aren't like something I've taken from a website. These are really, truly what I feel like our kids are getting out of this. And just the engagement for me as a teacher has been so different than last year of like, I'm not pulling teeth. Okay. And then I just want to give this to parents in particular, because I think a lot of people are like, that's great. Of course, like, that's awesome. But I also think it's important to know, like, the art that's going to come home is going to look different. It's not going to be your child imitating a 30-year-old artwork. So while I think craft and like following directions is super important, and I will still be doing those with the younger grades because I think just that is a really necessary skill. The quality that we assign to artwork can sometimes really defeat the purpose of having the children do their artwork in the first place. So there are things that you might have that your kid comes and like, I made this thing and I'm so proud of it. And you're like, that's 4 scribbles on a piece of paper. But to them, it's like, I came up with this roller coaster and I did it and all this stuff. I mean, the people who have seen the cards, you know, it's like, I cannot believe how much joy in this little thing where we might not think like that's really important to them. So yeah, visual difference. And also like the idea that like the creative process and the learning the skill truly is what I think we should be focusing on for our kids right now. And having them be confident enough to even make that artwork in the first place, as opposed to me just like holding their hand through a project. So just thinking about like, when your kids bring stuff home, I have another slide, which is like, how can you support their creativity? Especially, this might be hard for a lot of kids. I will tell you, I have so many kids. What do I draw? What do I draw? And like, here's this list of 10,000 things you can draw, or here are these books, like find something in the room. But there are a lot of kids who like thrive in that structure of being told what to do. So this is not easy for everyone to change their mindset. So I just wanted to share like questions you can maybe ask your student about creativity, about like, can you tell me about the idea you had to make this? Or I really like, for me, I really like saying like, what was hardest and what did you enjoy the most? Because then it also helps me guide other students like, oh, so-and-so troubleshooted that problem by doing this. And I know I'm guilty of this too, like, oh, that's so great. You're such an awesome artist. Like changing that to say like, this is amazing and I'm really proud of your work. Can you tell me more about it? So just like how we compliment our kids, as opposed to like, I saw you work really hard at that. You know, I saw how much effort you put into those things. So just something that I think really aligns with this work. And I think I have one more slide. I'm trying to be quick.
You're good.
So I will totally take my own accountability here. It is very hard to feel like, I felt like last year I didn't know what I needed. And everyone was like, how can we help? How can we help? How can we help? And I appreciate you all so much, because truly, like, I think the wanting to prove like, I'm doing a good job, I don't need anyone else. But I do. And it's like, this is what makes our school so great. And this is what makes our community so great. So like last year when we did the Halloween thing, like how instantaneously I got donations for stuff. Now that we're doing this more creative exploration, like there will be a need for toilet paper rolls and things like that. So like,
I've been saving up.
I know. Thank you so much. So like being able to still have that communication, and also on my end, this is holding me accountable for saying like, I'm ready to do this work with you. We have our art show this year. There will be 10 pieces from NPE students. Last 2 years ago, obviously during the height of pandemic and stuff, we really had a low turnout. Both of families, teachers, things like that. So even if your student doesn't have artwork placed in it, it would really mean a lot to the art teachers and the art community for them to show up for their friends. And even if you're just advertising it to other families in the district, like, I know it's 10 pieces, so it's hard. We have so many kids that I would love to just be like, I thought I was putting a piece for everyone. I didn't know that. And I was like, okay, so I need this and this. And they were like, no, it's 10 pieces. And I was like, how do I choose? That's really hard. Additionally, with the other schools, they have these relationships already about like visiting artists, assemblies, and like community mural projects. I'm not guaranteeing that this happens this year, but I do want to put it on everyone's radar that like that is a hope that I have, that we can have those things here as well. And then truly last year, like just even uncovering what was available in my classroom versus what I need materials wise. Like our building and our materials looks a little bit different than what the other schools have, and trying to figure out how like we can have a modern and like updated classroom for kids. And I have some ideas about what that looks like. I'm not going to go through a whole presentation of that. I can send that to whoever needs that information, but that would be a really big hope of mine. Yeah, that's all I have, and then I have questions if people have questions. Yeah. Any questions?
No, I'm the assemblies part of it. We have, I cannot honestly think of who it is off the top of my head. We have somebody in charge of assembly. If you come across assemblies that you.
It's now.
Is it Mallory? Oh,
I'm with someone else. I don't know. who
okay.
it is.
I'm like, I'm so, it's, yeah, but.
Okay.
We can like get in contact with us and we'll push you, or if you wanna just get, that's up to you, but we have an assemblies line item, so if there's something that's. You think is just absolutely amazing. Let us know and we can try to
Awesome.
work it out. So, yeah, other than that, my kids love it. And they come and remember that.
The biggest question is crochet club happening again?
Crochet club is happening. That's another thing. It's 4th and 5th grade only. I have 85 students already signed up. I actually have to close. Yeah, and that was in 24 hours.
Oh my gosh.
That
Everybody volunteers.
that is from, it starts in November, ends the end of school year. So I have, and it's not 85 kids at a time. I run it in sessions. It's this whole thing that I think it was like once. No, I would never do that to myself. It was fantastic last year. It was truly, when I think about like last year, and I said this several times, that's probably the thing I'm most proud of last year. And what, just like the kids who were involved in it, and how like, I really just taught 4 basic skills, but then I would have kids like run up to me and show these amazing pieces of artwork. And I'm like, I couldn't even do that into a month of crocheting. So just, their brains are sponges, and I'm so proud of them. And I'm also very proud of myself for bringing that here, because I think it's just amazing. So yeah, I wish I could do 3, but I don't think.
I mean, kids would be in classrooms reading books.
Yeah, I had to
figure that out.
And say
Yeah.
like, you can't come if you're not, but then there's also teachers who come and support their kids. And there's, the best thing actually was other kids teaching kids who didn't enroll. And like it being successful, like not me being like, that's not, they didn't teach you right. Like, let's figure it out, like them teaching them. And so yeah, that will be an expense that I'll probably pass forward, because yarn is expensive, but it was really amazing. I'm really, really proud of that.
One of our neighbors, we were walking around over the summer, and I know that he was in crochet club with you, and he's just sitting out on the stoop crocheting. It was so hot out, he's just crocheting with all this yarn. I was like, oh, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
I was just really,
it's really, really cool.
he kept going throughout this. Like, after
If
the-
you don't know and want to volunteer and learn, I also have had students who like had younger siblings and stuff attend as well. I'm definitely open to having a lot of help here. It's a lot, but it is truly wonderful.
Any other questions about how I'm running my room?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And, you know, having had kids go through the district before, the very top down, like, this is the way you do things and it's the same projects every single year. I mean, they were beautiful,
Mhm.
but I love the idea that kids are going to be exploring and finding out.
Yeah. I think also the resistance to like some of the things that. I think the resistance that a lot of kids have or just the negativity that I hear about artwork is really wild. Like I know I felt that way as a kid, but just hearing it. And so that's this is my hopefully remedy for that. Because like you might not be a painter, but you know what you might be really great at, like constructing something out of cardboard and architecture or whatever. Like you might find your passion here. So that's my hope. Yeah.
We
Sorry.
see the playing cards in action, so.
I'm glad you explained it, because I had no.
Oh, they're
idea.
obsessed. It's so much. It's a lot. And I always, every time I like go do laundry, I'm like pulling dolphin dollars and trading. Yeah, if anyone wants to take a look at these before I
You pass
head out,
around.
yeah. I also brought one kind of as a joke because, not as a joke, but I get so many of these same messy jersey cards. I don't know anything about them, but it's just the same. And then I have my.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, just a note too, we have.
Thank you so much.
I know why, I'm like, what is that so there? So I'm gonna bring it back, so.
Home baked snack.
Yes, I'm baked, yeah, come on. Sorry, I will let you. We did I'm gonna act. I didn't even think about it, the adult social, our first ever adult social event.
I
I couldn't make it, which I was super upset. I'm like, can we do the date? And everybody said no. Right?
Yeah, so Michelle, we thought we'd do another one in April
Okay,
and then.
and was it successful, like?
Yeah, well, there was what,
Okay.
at least,
Yeah, there was fun.
there was more of us than anyone else in there.
Which is good.
Yeah,
All
so we
right.
figured we do one more with more people if we could, and then the next year. Then we have more of a fundraiser where we can have the whole bar to ourselves,
Oh, yeah,
baskets of cheer, like kind of like more of a raising money for the PTO.
oh, that's
'Cause,
awesome.
yeah, you know, give more people more notice. It's tough to start the year and have it so early.
Yes,
Push it back
Yeah.
to like maybe maybe not a Friday with football, I don't know who they have order kids now, but
yeah.
maybe Saturday,
That's awesome.
maybe.
I know we had talked about doing balloons or whatever. and
Yes.
My husband's like a total introvert, so like he sat there by himself for like an hour before I got there. Because he didn't know like
Oh, yeah,
where
who was
everybody was,
doing-
and I think initially like people knew each other.
Some people did who started.
So
talking
just
first, and-
and I'm fine for him, because he was
Yeah.
fine by himself. It's for parents who might not know anybody, like if we could just
Yeah.
think of a way to maybe like. Yeah, I don't know.
Wrangle
I don't
our
know.
area in a sense.
There was
Yeah.
somebody though, when I came in, was too, was like, they said, oh, are you with NPE, and pointed us
Oh,
back.
they did,
in the
yeah.
direction.
That's-
She might not have caught everybody
I was-
going in.
I was gonna
At
say,
the moment
right,
when we went in,
Yeah.
there was someone sort of at the door guiding.
Okay.
Have you guys ever been to a Beacon Beer at 2SP?
No, I have been to one, a baseball one, and I don't have any place baseball, I was invited, it's phenomenal. And I
Yeah,
got
but like,
noticed that, it was a whole fun thing. We won.
was it like years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was at the same one.
We're,
Cause it's like a nice, like, private area
yes,
and like.
that's not a bad, I mean,
That's not
I don't know
super.
if they do it as a fundraiser thing now?
I think the guy that owns it's local, so.
Okay.
Maybe
I mean,
she-
maybe-
He knows my neighbor, he's from Wallingford.
Okay, so maybe it's just, I mean, I don't hate Chip Bottom, but in the same respect, just options for you.
Sorry.
No, he
Oh,
Chip Bottom.
that's it, okay.
Yeah, he's Chip Bottom, so yes,
We have a lot of breweries in the area.
we do. Wonder why, but thank you. for-
Michelle, she kept thanking me, she did all the work.
Yeah,
I just
so
suggested
you were
it.
involved.
She-
So.
She CC'd me.
You were the brainchild, we'll give you.
Next committee, we do have an open committee spot still, STEAM committee. which I know we were shooting more towards April, the theme, well, the head, I guess, the chair.
Oh, we need a co-chair. We need a co-chair.
We need co-chair,
Oh.
so we have, yeah, so we're just looking for co-chair, and it's basically to I think,
I'll
reach out
co-chair.
to everybody and just organize it. You wanna co-chair?
I don't want to, but I will.
Okay. I'm not gonna say no to that, so done. I accomplished a lot tonight. Awesome. Are you like, you're good?
I've like helped out in it every year.
So you know, I mean, you know a lot about it. So you're good. All right, cool. Awesome, thank you.
First grade.
The what?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, next, movie nights, we're still looking for volunteers. It is this Friday. Hopefully it's not frigid. Adam's Family is the movie. There is a Sign of Genius on our last e-blast.
It's on the e-blast and on social media, there's a,
Yes, social media.
yeah, there's a link to with the sign up genius, so.
And it's mostly just discussions, cleanup, wrangling.
I'm Kate,
Oh, okay, sorry. So you can tell. So-
Yeah, no, well, that's really it, that's really it, we need a couple volunteers, I mean, it's just cleanup, I don't know, I did. Are you Alice?
I'm Alice,
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
I did change some of the times, because I think you're right, I don't think we need like
Yeah.
some of them for the whole time, but I think it should be pretty easy, I was thinking. With the popcorn and the tickets, we could kind of just. Merge them with the candy people once that's done.
Yeah.
The candy people
sure.
could kind of just finish up
Manage
if
it,
there's
yeah.
more people coming in late, I don't know how late people will come, but.
Not
I think
super-
there was like almost 80 responses for the like voting, so I don't know if that's maybe something.
Awesome. Last year was very nice turnout, and it's super simple. It's the wrangling of the kids, I think, which is the most.
Yeah,
Fun.
yeah,
Did anybody
yeah,
volunteer to?
no dads
help
yet,
wrangle
no,
yet?
no
Nobody?
dads yet, well, I volunteered my husband, so. We got one, but yeah, and then I was just wondering like, how much candy do you want me, like, how much candy do people buy?
You got it last year.
Yeah, I bought it off,
Oh, you're tough, I'm sorry.
I bought it off from Costco.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Costco, like, how many
I was
boxes?
gonna say, I don't
I think
remember
that's-
what candy that was, but I remember buying it.
I remember I got a check for like 186 back, so, I mean, I would stay away, well, what was it, what were the, talking about the wrappers, we stayed away from something because it was. Individually wrapped inside and we were trying, that would be a lot
Oh,
of trash.
Starburst.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Starburst,
Okay,
and
something like
no,
this breakfast.
cause I bought it was actually like a thing, I actually kept all the Starburst out of it, there was like a pack of this, and this,
Yeah.
but like. It was Kit Kats, it was all like,
Like a little chocolate,
So-
a little.
And it won't-
sweet or-
yeah, and
Yeah.
it won't melt because
Okay.
it's
No,
cold
it's
out,
cold.
so yeah, so.
Yeah,
it's good.
I would just, keep the peanut stuff on one side.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, I know it's closed. but still.
I won't even do peanuts, there's so much stuff you can do without
Well,
it.
technically Hershey's is packaged in a peanut, not a peanut free or all that stuff, that's what I mean,
Ah.
like if there's,
Okay.
so like the gummies on one side
Yeah.
versus, that's what I would do first.
Ah, okay.
Cause you're gonna have that thing.
And
It's
do we need petty cash for, like, how did you do the money last year?
Oh, I didn't, I was security.
Yeah, there was definitely.
Yes, there's definitely petty cash,
Okay.
small
Yeah.
bills. Do we have a
$100
price on small bills? Candy, what did we charge this year? I wanna say $1 for candy,
I thought it was more than that, cause I mean,
I don't remember how much I spent.
yeah, I don't.
I hate to say that.
Let's see, like how many, like 100, like, I don't know, I like altogether, like how many pieces, like, do you think? I just like.
I
Sell
bought,
More
it,
than
sell
that?
it. My vote is to do it, well, this is with the bake sales, whatever, but like if you do it, pay what you want. Yeah, still have like a kid be like, I don't have any money, you can just give it to them, but then for every kid that's like that, you're gonna have somebody be like, I'll take a Hershey's, here's 20.
My only concern with that is, well, I love that idea generally, like, I didn't go up there thing, I sent my kids. So you're gonna have the 4th and 5th graders who have the money in hand from mom and dad, who are like, oh, sorry, I don't have any money. Yeah, like I'm telling you, I was like, yeah, here's some money, and they went up by themselves to the table and they paid for it themselves, and
Possible donation, I don't know, is that a bad thing, a donation box, like what do you want?
we can, I mean, we can,
If you're one.
it's not gonna, it's not gonna hurt, I mean, people do change,
But are you guys still doing it like, I'm sorry, I'm making things more.
you're fine.
Are you still doing it like this is like, you're not trying to make money off of the event, you're just trying, it's just like, but if you make
It's
money.
to
so-
kind of flat rate it, like it's not, yeah, it's not, we're not gonna make $10,000 on this now. Nor are we here too.
Yeah.
If this is an event for the kids. But in the same respect, we have to pay for candy bars, we have to pay for the movie,
Sure.
stuff like that, so if we can. at least break even with our situation.
I would
have
say
drinks.
$1 or $2, you're not gonna fifty, like one.
I wouldn't do
change.
I'm not gonna do that.
Takes $2 for.
Expensive.
$1 they.
And it's all full size.
Yeah, I mean, I
So it's-
think
we're not
either.
gonna
and
give you
it's
something
just not a big
small.
deal.
Yeah.
And what's the popcorn? Is it a little bags of popcorn?
So that was the second question. I can either just get the individual, whatever they have at Costco, and then they have like skinny pop and a bunch of stuff, and I don't mind either, that I know that people are saying, I think last year those popped, but I heard not to pop it. But if I wanna get, if I get the big.
Yes, the big
bag
ones and then
fill it
pre-pack,
up with
yeah.
bags, I
Yeah.
can do that too, whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can
Like
easily,
pre-pack, I would pre-fill with like. anything. Don't
Yeah,
do
no,
that,
I'm not
but
gonna.
yeah,
They did run out of popcorn.
Yeah, I figured that.
Cause it's free,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah,
they would- But we try
Yes,
to keep
the
that.
popcorn is really big.
It's $2 for the tickets.
yeah,
Yeah, the
I don't
popcorn
think,
wasn't really so bad.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's $5 a go.
I'm sorry, what did you say, $3?
I said, no, if the
$2.
if the popcorn's free, then I would do at least $2.
Yeah, $2, I think
Yeah.
$2.
Are we gonna
Yeah.
drinks too, like water, Riesling?
BYO did.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it was BYO last year, I don't think, I'm.
Remember dropping off Gatorade?
I was saying there definitely was cool from the,
For the drink.
yeah, because,
At least water.
yeah, it was water. Cause I remember, I
Yeah.
had to call Mike Tamaglia because Amy was volunteering water and he had to pull the truck up and I ran out to grab it because
There was-
people were already pouring in
Okay,
and asking.
so I would definitely, when you're at Costco, grab waters.
Okay.
Um,
little ones.
yeah, you can, yeah, the little ones will be fine, I don't think that's an issue.
Oh, yeah.
They're
well,
probably
that was-
actually more expensive. to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
What, the smaller ones?
Yeah.
They
Are
are.
they?
It's
Never mind,
four,
these
it's
are
four,
good
but I was just there yesterday, it's $4 for 36. For of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
I bet you the other ones are like $6 and you
They
get
are. yeah.
24, cause it's just
The little ones are eating, they're eating it.
80, alright.
I'll take a check.
And the only reason I know that is because I accidentally bought
At
them,
the end of the day, if you run out of.
and it was a
candy, like,
WTF,
it's
it's
fine
this
to
situation
tell
when
them,
I
yeah.
went to grab
Yeah,
it.
this
It's like,
is
water
fine.
bottle.
Sorry.
Like, what is on?
Trying to find what I ordered, cause I did order online, but it's nothing's coming up.
Yeah, so it's, I hate to say it's pretty easy for them, but it's kind of, it's the volunteers thing.
Yeah, but last year,
And anybody. Any of us that were there generally try and go anyway, like just out of habit, in my opinion, I don't know about you guys, but it's.
I think it's gonna be fairly, I mean, there's not really a setup, like how much setup, like.
I feel like a lot of moms showed up early and just, like, they didn't really sign up for the G's, and I'm pretty sure Michelle said it,
Yeah.
people just showed up, I remember
Yes. We
Catherine's
have, we
mom
will
showed
help
up.
no matter, that's.
Yeah. People just showed up as
I wouldn't get
volunteers.
overly stressed,
I'm
I
not
would more,
stressing.
yeah, it's, yeah, secure, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But thank you for being on,
Yeah.
I'm excited, I can go.
Me
this
too.
year. Yeah, I can go this year, which I'm excited.
I can't.
Why? Oh, for what reason?
I can't.
Stupid question. Stupid question. All right, next up, we got turkey trot. You want turkey trot? Okay.
Okay, Turkey Trot is going well, we are at, before I left, I checked, we're at 606 registered. Great, we have 41 sponsors, I would say, it's 41 or 42. They're not all paying, like some of them like, were like renting tables this year and they gave us a deal, so we're like promoted, like they're like, going to get some commission out of that. But yeah, we're doing well, the yard times are in, if you live in a high traffic street or work somewhere in Delaware County that's outside of Wallingford, and let me know, and I'll get you a sign. Shirts are, we sent everything to the printers, we're gonna start working on those. And I'll keep starting to. Any questions? Do you need anything? Just volunteers. The day of.
Day of time.
Do you want some sort of sign payments or something? It's actually on the race registration. It's on website, yeah. And Jess is our volunteer. Yeah, but I don't know what I have to do. On the day of, other than that, but. Oh, just promote it, which you're really good at on social media, like, the sign up is on the wrong website again. So just.
Is it already up there?
Yeah, so just try to get this. Okay. So you just promote it, push it out on social media, but I checked, we don't have anyone signed up yet, like for a specific, well, actually, no, we did, but it's not on like the website yet. It's early. It is still early, yeah. A lot of people make silly figuring it out. Yeah. But it's going well.
Well, thank you. Only announcements that I have as of right now, class of 2024 is doing not a food truckathon. It's something different. It's called something different. It's a food truckathon. I think it's
food fest.
is it food fest.
Food fest, yes,
Okay.
but it's with food trucks, but
Yes,
not.
it's at
a food truck.
Creekside. I believe it's the 21st.
It's Garden City. Yeah.
I believe it's the 21st. Hold on.
I think it's.
Yeah, 21st. I still like that. So come out, support class of 2024. All that stuff. Creekside is doing a Halloween.
It's like a dance party.
Oh, okay.
The fire truck is gonna, rock.
Oh, that's fun. So Creekside's having a Halloween event,
The 27th.
the 27th at 4:30. Yes, okay.
Oh, for anybody.
Is that open?
I think it's maybe $5.
Okay.
But you don't forget.
Nice. Fun. That's awesome. Does anyone have any other announcements or events going on? Yeah. That's good.
Directory is done.
Okay.
Caitlin is amazing and went through and that gave me a whole lot of edits. So the edits are not made,
Okay.
but if anybody wants to sign in and like make sure your information is correct, it's up.
At some point, you and I need to talk because I've never. But apparently I'm also in there 4 times, so that may be part of the issue.
You're probably one of the people that.
Yeah.
She-
She's the one who told me, she's like, you were in the record 4 times. I'm like, wow. I have
Well,
2 children here.
Well, because,
Well, that's what I'm thinking I can't get in because something's.
yeah, there's probably, and like, I noticed when I went through the raw data, like, I don't know if 2 different parents filled out forms for different students, but like. Dad's information was one for one student, and also the B parent for that student, but then was A, like.
So it was like
So
silly
it's-
things like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why a lot of.
When you're done, you should send the email addresses to Allison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other?
I just have a question.
Yes.
So I know, German class, I think you posted it on the social media, is at class. Now, not her, but anybody like?
Oh, the French.
So it's not apparently at the library this year. It was last year, so my son Peter went there, but now it's at West, so I didn't know if it was open to every kid in the district or just to West students.
For German or?
Yeah, for German.
So as
specific.
far as I know, I think that's just, cause I think it's just the library is only doing French.
I was gonna say, I think French is open to everybody.
Yeah, I think French is open to everyone, but then,
German went back. to the
Yeah.
school, and it's gonna go right after.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can
Can we
go ahead
petition?
and write a sternly worded letter to the superintendent about equity.
Okay. Maybe a principal could play in on that one.
Maybe.
I think, it's an awkward thing for, chain of command there, for his parent.
I'm not doing that.
Is there a reason why it got pulled back to a school versus open to districts, especially with?
It was never a district.
Oh,
thing. It was always the school. And then they were nice and let us join them 1 year.
okay.
Right, I think, wasn't there some issue with COVID at the school? I don't know, like, this is what I was
Yes, they got
told,
kicked out.
but they
of
then
the
kind of moved
school.
over to the library.
And so
When they moved to the library, they opened up to everybody.
That's,
yes.
yeah.
Because they didn't have enough kids to fill the classes. So
Well, they have French and German, can we do Spanish?
it's all
We can
about.
do whatever we want
It's all about
in terms of that process,
teacher, do it
but we have to have
here.
a teacher. That's always been the rub.
I got nothing.
We had Spanish once upon a time.
Really?
Mhm.
I don't know.
2012 was the last time we had.
What do you need to be a teacher?
Well, it was an
That'd
after
be
school,
great.
it was an after school club. It was actually one that, yeah, if it's offered as an after school club,
Like, well, my husband does speak multiple languages.
yeah, it was actually a support staff
Maybe I
member.
can talk to him.
Is that a volunteer position then?
It's after school, I mean,
PTO has paid
We-
people to
so-
teach clubs in the past.
I'm thinking like the Wallingford co-op has a Spanish teacher, she's wonderful,
it's a matter of what that looks like.
but I don't know,
Compensation.
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
so-
what that-
With their quick story is there was a longtime art teacher that worked at SRS and NPE. And back in the day, there weren't as many systems in place to manage people coming in, and when a system was put in place, that particular individual moved on. And we had a parent who actually offered an art club after school. It was actually very successful. The problem is, if you're an individual, you have to do a building use form, but you also need like I want to say it was the proof of insurance, but there was a fee. So what happened was the parent, who was part of PTO, but the art club became part of PTO. So then what would happen is PTO would say, we're running this, we're running it. And then the person would get X amount of money based on what the asking was of parents, obviously very nominal. The problem with that is, instead of the person collecting the money and being responsible for it, it went to PTO, which I don't remember the exact problems or issues. But that's kind of the way it's kind of gone recently. It's because it's the easiest way to go about something like that.
So we, in
In theory,
theory, we could bring someone in
'Cause
as
they-
an after-school club situation.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it is not okay. Because all the elementary schools should have the same thing. And when it comes to something that is curricular, like languages.
I don't disagree regarding, your
And I-
student. My point is, we are at this point, I guess French is not there, but like,
It's just the way it's been for the past.
who's
10 years.
actually offering, and I feel bad that I actually don't know, who actually offers it at SRS?
It's not their PTO. It's like a separate organization that they have created
After school?
after school. And the Ask Fund,
Mhm.
they can use the Ask Fund to pay for it, which is a district initiative.
We can do that too, if we had a person identified. To teach it.
The star comes on Wednesday, so. I mean, she's the only person.
yeah, I mean, in theory, it's just one of those. If other two, and mine.
No, I agree.
District should be hiring.
I don't
teacher
disagree with you
to be
regarding that, but in the
teaching
same
club every
respect.
for the schools. But if they wanna have it, the district should be coordinating it across all the schools.
Yes.
If not, nobody should have it, because otherwise you're giving the kids, I'm sorry, I'm rather passionate about this. Otherwise, you're giving the kids who go to the other schools an advantage when they're
Yes.
coming into middle school.
Yeah.
Having already been exposed to these language classes.
Yes.
My letter against you.
So
Can we get the
going
teacher
back
that's
to,
been using them? Can we talk to SRS?
There.
so if we did it here, could we open it up to every other school? Or if you do it in this building, you can only have NPE schools or NPE students?
I would think it would be logistically impossible to open it up to other students from other buildings.
Because of liability or what?
Transportation,
Yeah, it could be an after-school club, it could be like,
Because after school has to be at 4 o'clock, right after.
We did
Like,
the
it
girls'
can't be at
well,
4.
if it's not at 4 o'clock,
was that on site then?
I would imagine you'd be doing a
Oh.
building use form, and then whoever is running it is gonna be paying the fee.
Got it.
Yeah, that-
And
and
you
that's
have
just my
to do
first thought.
logistics.
Yeah.
So you could do it in the heat though.
I talked to the woman last year from West who's doing it, and how like they had trouble booking the room.
But also back then, the auditorium wasn't really available to book, which it is now available. to book.
Okay, that was a COVID thing, right? Okay.
And I'm gonna be honest. I hate to say this because I'm not parent though, we have so much going on, I probably wouldn't take him up there. Right, after school club, I would hands down sign him up that much, right, just because of easeability in my current situation.
It's a good point though, I think
Like-
you get a lot more takers.
Uh-huh. Yes,
Can you put that on?
I don't hate that.
PTO, I believe, has a monthly. I would think
Yeah.
using the proper means of communication would be in a monthly PTO meeting.
That's all about. Joining the schools, so here we go.
I think you would get traction. I don't think this is something that he's necessarily in favor of the current model, but
Okay,
that's just my 2 cents.
I mean, I
sure
think it should be,
they
I should
No,
think it
I-
should be the
yeah, I know he's not, but it's just,
To
you
have
can't,
this, you know, and then everybody could choose from what they would actually wanna learn. you know,
Yeah.
The French, the Spanish.
I mean, or we could get somebody in here who does all three and they could.
Yeah.
Give
even if
the
it's
beach
something.
or something
it's just-
stupid like that, like, but I mean, studies have shown that the younger you start, the more you retain it.
Yeah.
Which is why I still don't see the country. Yeah, I don't hate that idea.
Those are logistics. So the first thing is identifying the who. The how is actually not as difficult as who's going to do it. and who's your target audience, like those logistics, we can figure that out. I mean, I'm very on board.
Yeah, we meet him next. Thursday, right? Yeah. All right, that is all we currently have. Does anyone have anything else? Motion to adjourn, or no, I lied. Next meeting is November 9th. It's a Thursday. I think that's what we have on our schedule, unless we change it. I don't know. Yeah,
No, I think it was just the,
okay.
yeah.
We did Romeo and Juliet at the high school, so.
Oh, is that what it is? On Friday?
No, that Thursday.
Thank you for coming, guys. Thank you. The high school Romeo and Juliet? I didn't realize they were doing that this year. Although my kid has no interest in any of it, so I heard about it.
Gina Ross says hello. I was in a meeting with her today. I work in Bucks County.
I was just gonna say, wait.
Yeah.